Hello, you're watching Nacho Television. My name is Saudam Ganga. I'll bring to you our news headlines today. Let's start our news from Çanakkale, where 46 Afghan migrants, including women and children, were held in the Ayvacık district, northwestern Turkey, on Tuesday as they were attempting to illegally cross to Greece. Süleyman Soylu, the Interior Minister, said there isn't any top terror group member in Turkey. More than 160 terrorists, all top terror group members, were killed last year in Turkey. Among them were 13 terrorists who were inscribed on the red category of the Interior Minister's wanted list, Süleyman Soylu told an NGO meeting in Istanbul. The wanted list is divided into 5 color-coded categories, with red as the most wanted, followed by blue, green, orange, and gray. Early in March, Soylu said there were fewer than 700 terrorists in Turkey. Turkish President and leader of ruling Justice and Development AK Party, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, speaks during a campaign rally for March 31st local elections in Eastern Van province of Turkey yesterday.
Her yanı tarih ve destan, nasıl gurur duymaz insan? Burası güller diyarı, yüce gönüller toprağı, ne kavga yakışır.
Iraqi Water Resources Minister Jamal Al-Adir makes a speech during a press conference in Baghdad, Iraq yesterday.
لتوضيح الصورة للشعب العراقي كله. تعرفون كلكم يعني وسائل التواصل الاجتماعي يعني بتتبادل كثير من الأفلام اللي معظمها تخص
Ishaka Pasha Palace in Turkey's Eastern Agri province has become focus of interest for domestic and foreign tourists. The palace, located in Doğu Beyazıt district, was accepted into the UNESCO tentative list of World Heritage on February 2, 2000. The palace, spread across an area of 7,600 meters squares, is one of the most distinguished and magnificent examples of 18th century architecture. According to the UNESCO website, it said the palace on the Silk Route near the Iranian frontier is situated on a high and vast platform of strategic importance. It is not at all in the Ottoman tradition, but it's rather a mixture of Anatolia, Iranian and North Mesopotamian architectural tradition. Somali emergency teams were seen at a location of a car bomb attack in Mogadishu in the capital Somalia on Tuesday. At least 2 people were killed and 5 others injured in a car bomb explosion. Yesterday, flamingos were seen at the Seyfe Lake in central Kırşehir province of Turkey. Election observers say they witnessed the intimidation of voters and violence during the supplementary elections held in Nigeria last weekend. The European Union Election Observation Mission said that there were groups of men with weapons who intimidated and obstructed the voting process. In particular, the European Union mission said local and international observers and journalists were prevented from accessing parts of Kano State where the supplementary elections were being held. AUN has sent a team of investigators to central Mali, where it says more than 150 people were killed over the weekend. AUN spokeswoman said the massacre in the village of Ogosagu marked a significant surge in violence across communal lines by so-called self-defense groups, when they have become increasingly aggressive since 2015, when jihadists started carrying out attacks in the area. The UN says 600 people, including many women and children, have been killed in Mopti region over last year. Algerian Army Chief Ahmed Gaid Salah on Tuesday called for the activation of a constitutional article with the aim of having 82-year-old President Abdelaziz Bouteflika deemed unfit for office. In remarks broadcast on state television, Salah cited Article 102 of Algeria's National Charter, which states that the parliament speaker should assume executive authority in the event of the president's incapacitation. The speaker can hold the opposition of interim president for a maximum period of 90 days, during which presidential elections must be conducted. A combat helicopter marks its first flight during an air show at Brazil Fort Ricardo in Brazilian Army. Aviation Commander ahead of Latin American Aero and Defense Expo, which will take place on April 2nd and 5th in Rio de Janeiro yesterday. General of Brazilian Army Aviation Commander Carlos Aguilar speaks to the press during the air show. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan addresses supporters during an election campaign rally ahead of 31st March local elections in southeastern Adıyaman province of Turkey yesterday. A total of 61 irregular migrants were held in the northeastern Turkish province of Bayburt on Tuesday, trying to cross to Europe. Thailand's just concluded elections are deeply flawed, an international election observer group said this Tuesday. Thais voted to elect a 500-member parliament on Sunday for the first time in 8 years. But the Bangkok-based Asian Network for Free Elections, an election observation and advocacy group, said there were serious problems with the tabulation and consolidation of ballots. Those issues led to the announcement of some preliminary results that were widely inaccurate, which damaged the preserved integrity of the general election, the group said in a statement on its website. The Thai Election Commission announced on Sunday night, hours after polling closed at 5 p.m., that 65.96% of total votes were cast, which was lower than expected. Hazrat Ali, a 68-year-old cycle rickshaw driver, has been living in Bangladesh's capital Dhaka for the last 48 years. When the Liberation War broke out in 1971 against Pakistani's rule, Ali was a young man filled with hopes and dreams about the potential of a new homeland where the rights of Bengali nation will be protected. He said he migrated to Dhaka from a remote village after they lost their property to river erosion with the hope that justice would be established and the misfortune will end. Ali added, "My dream has not been fulfilled yet in the last 5 decades and I have no dream left. I am just pleased with Allah as in his old age I can push the pedals of my rickshaw and somehow manage food for my family." Bangladesh celebrated its Independence Day on Tuesday. On March 26, 1971, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the country's founder father, declared independence from Pakistan. A North Korean physiotherapist has been abducted from his living quarters in Nigeria's northwestern Zamfara state, reported police yesterday. Jane Sunali was taken forcefully late Monday from his house in Safa, country of the Recife state, where there has been a rise in kidnappings in the past few months. Dr. Jeng Sunai was not seen in his room inside the staff quarters, and he shared with others 3 persons working in the hospital, police spokesman Mohammed Shehu said in a statement. He said a police team had been dispatched to search for the expatriate, who locals said he had been a contractor in the state since 2016. Zamfara has been a hotbed of armed banditry in the last 1 year, resulting in hundreds of deaths, mass displacement and abductions. A UN World Food Programme says Cyclone Idal, which hit southern Africa 12 days ago, wiped out a whole year's worth of crops across swaths of Mozambique, Malawi and Zimbabwe. World Food Programme Executive Director David Beasley said that farmers had lost everything and the aid effort urgently needed funds to tackle what was going to be a long-lasting humanitarian crisis. Cyclone Idal destroyed tens of thousands of homes in Mozambique, where more than 1.8 million people are in need of assistance. With fears of waterborne diseases, and World Health Organization says it is sending close to 900,000 doses of cholera vaccines, which is expected to arrive within the next 10 days. A combination of factors ranging from conflict to diplomatic isolation have unintentionally turned the Eritrean capital into a cycling paradise. Asmara only has about 500,000 inhabitants, which combined with low salaries, high import taxes and fuel shortages means the city has few vehicles. Those you do see often tend to be from a different age. The president of the Comoros Islands has been re-elected in a landslide victory, which the opposition has described as a shame. The election commission announced that President Azali Assoumani had won just over 60% of the votes, 4 times more than his recent nearest rival, Mohamedou Ahmada. The election was held after a controversial referendum boycotted by the opposition that saw the presidential mandate extended from 1 to 2 terms. The Supreme Court barred some of the presidential's main rivals, including a former president, Ahmed Abdallah Sambi, who has been accused of corruption. Pakistan's former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has been granted bail for 6 weeks to receive medical treatment. Sharif is serving a 7-year term imposed last year for investments beyond his declared assets. He denies any wrongdoing and has appealed. The 69-year-old reportedly has a heart condition and kidney problems. The Supreme Court says he will not be allowed to leave the country and needs to surrender to prison authorities at the end of the bail term. Sharif's lawyers claimed that he needed urgent medical attention that could not be provided in jail. Chief Justice Asif Saeed Hossa says he does not surrender voluntarily. He faces being arrested. A British man wanted on drug charges has been arrested off a remote island in Australia while trying to flee the country on a jet ski, authorities say. The 57-year-old was taken into custody on Shaiba Islands, just 4 kilometers (2.5 miles) south of Papua New Guinea after traveling 150 kilometers from North Australia. The man was found on mud flats, and there were reports he had been carrying a crossbow and other supplies. He is expected to be taken to Western Australia, and they say this arrest sends a strong message to would-be fugitives. Our reach across Australia is second to none, an Australian Federal Police spokesman said. Police said the man, who has not been officially named, had launched his jet ski on Monday from Poon Sand Bay in Queensland. The man was tracked by federal and state police on Australia border Force Faisal. Saibai Island is one of the string of islands in Torres Strait which belongs to Australia. Tanzania's President John Magufuli has promised to give each player in the national football team a piece of land as a reward for qualifying to the African Cup of Nations for the first time in 39 years. Mr. Magufuli hosted the team at his official residence in the main city, Dar es Salaam, after they qualified for Egypt 2019 by beating Uganda 3-0 on Monday. The president said, "For the good work you have done to bring honor to Tanzania by qualifying Africa Cup of Nations finals in Egypt, each player will get a parcel of land in Dodoma, the administrative capital." He added, "I believe our players can find and put up better show in Cairo and go on place between or better by winning the title." Mr. Magufuli had also donated about $426,000 to the under-17 team to help them prepare for the AFCON finals in the division. Thank you so much for being with us. You can check our social medias of Natural Television or send us messages on our WhatsApp number written on your screen. My name is Sauda Muganga from Natural Television, Ankara in Turkey. See you soon.